Hi everyone, my name is Mary, and I'm 19 years old. Have you ever tried to reinvent yourself? Sometimes you think that this is the only thing that can save you from your problems. But remember, not everyone likes it when you change. Watch this video till the end and you will find out why my family disowned me after getting plastic surgery. I'm a beauty blogger, and I have a pretty wealthy family who lived in an old mansion. But they had recently lost their business, and they were preparing to put the house up for auction for not having paid their taxes. I decided I wanted to help them keep the house, but how? A large company noticed my video with the Harley Quinn makeup tutorial and was ready to make me their representative. They said that I was very charismatic, I had a big fan base, and that I was very experienced in the advertising business. They liked almost everything about me, except my appearance, especially my nose. Quoting the woman who talked to me, "We would like to have a girl with more standard appearance." Why did they send me the partnership offer then? But I wasn't at a loss. They probably really liked me. If they were still willing to cooperate with me, maybe you would be willing to correct your imperfections with plastic surgery? Gosh, I really needed the money. I could save our house! And my nose... It's a pity, of course, but it's a small price to pay for happiness. What would you risk for your family? Appearance, money, or your personal life? I thought I did everything right. However, I encountered an unexpected problem. I was too excited when I agreed to the surgery. I didn't think that my savings wouldn't be enough for even one procedure. I tried to think of a way out of this situation, but I couldn't go to work under these conditions. So I reluctantly turned to my parents for help. And of course, they got mad at me. It wasn't because they thought I was pretty just the way I was. My parents were generally supportive of my beauty career. No, it wasn't about their love for me. They were against it because, and this is where you're gonna laugh, they considered my nose a family heirloom. My nose. Sure, I tried to convince them. I said that it would help towards the money we needed, that otherwise we would not be able to save our house. And the choice about the nose and the house was obvious, but apparently only to me. My father firmly forbade me to change my appearance in order to, and I quote, preserve my pride. I got angry and said that pride should be set aside. But my mother blurted out that I had to forget about my decision, that I have done stupid things and they were ashamed of me in front of our late grandmother. She would never let me have plastic surgery. It was a low blow. I loved my grandmother, and the mention of her hurt me. I burst into tears and ran away. I knew my parents were wrong, and she would be proud of me. But my mother was stubborn, and nothing could change her mind, not even my tears. I knew my grandmother would be proud of me. She had sold the family jewels to save her husband and estate from ruin. Jewels! I looked at my grandmother's photo. If I could sell them profitably, I could use this money to pay for the surgery. But I was tormented by doubts. Was it really worth doing? Was I really willing to sell some of our memories in exchange for a new nose? I wasn't sure. However, I had no other choice. I had to sneak into my parents' room while they were sleeping. I poked around in the drawers of the dressing table and soon found what I was looking for. Although I was disgusted, I felt a little relieved and went to see Mr. Child, a specialist in antique jewelry whom my parents were familiar with. He used to be interested in my grandmother's jewelry, and I immediately thought that he was a great option. Mr. Child greeted me warmly, but the price he named was much lower than I expected. I knew that he wanted to save money on me, so I decided to keep my price until the last moment. However, he seemed to know at once that I was in a hopeless position and said that these jewels were not precious, that no one would take them for more than the price he offered, and that I might be left without any money at all if I continued to be picky. I felt miserable. I didn't want to sell my grandmother's memory for anything. But the truth was, I really didn't have a choice. Either I was changing myself, getting a job, and saving the house, or I didn't even want to think about it. And Mr. Child caught me like a spider in a trap. But on the other hand, I had money and could finally do this stupid nose job. The surgery was terrible. No, it didn't hurt, but no one warned me that I would have to lie still for hours and think, wondering if I did the right thing. Have you ever doubted your decisions when it's too late to change anything? It's a disgusting feeling. Immediately after the surgery, when I wanted to call my parents, I received a call from them. It turned out that the bailiffs arrived to our house for inventory of property, and my parents wanted to pay them off with grandmother's jewelry, but they couldn't find it! Damn! I immediately rushed home. My mom and dad were speechless at the sight of me. I explained the situation, said that I wanted to save the house, but all I heard in response was, "Get out. This is not your house anymore." That was their gratitude. I hoped that they would understand that I also wanted to save our mansion. But apparently the stupid nose was much more valuable to them. I immediately packed up and left. But where could I go? To my friends? First I went to the office of the company. They gave me a tight smile for several hours and made one promise after another. But in the end, it turned out that until the postoperative period was over, I couldn't tell if they can work with me. I left the office upset and panicked because I was sure they would hire me. And at that moment, I wasn't. Then I needed to find another job. And something told me I was not going to make a fortune out of it. I went to my favorite shopping mall. Maybe I could do children's face painting. I could do it. It was easy. But I was immediately surprised by the employer. I would not be hired to work with clients because my face after the surgery would only frighten everyone, especially children. Well, that didn't work. But there was another option. I persuaded them to hire me as a children's animator in costume and makeup. And after that, I started to work like crazy. I didn't have days off, and I slept in the back room. And when I had time to rest, I consulted the clients from my channel and took them shopping. It was almost like a secret side job, but I made good money. So I decided to go home for my parents' wedding anniversary. I thought maybe that enough time had passed and we could make up. Only after I arrived, I realized it was a bad idea. My mom was glad to see me, but she didn't show her emotions in front of people because our rich relatives were invited to the party, and they were disgusted by my appearance. Dad ostentatiously ignored me. Eventually, my aunt came up to me to give me a fake hug and took pity on me, saying that I had committed a terrible crime because of my wayward father. That was too much. I couldn't put up with this old woman and told all those rich Pinocchios exactly what I thought of them, that they didn't really care about my grandmother or her legacy, or they wouldn't have watched our family go down, that it was not my dad's fault that we were losing the house. It could happen to anyone. It was their fault that they didn't come to our rescue. Of course, all those offended fools immediately left our house, and I could finally give my parents my gift money to pay off the lawyers. My mother was very touched, but my father said that it was too late. There were only 2 days left, and we would either have to move out or pay. I started to cry. I asked for forgiveness for my actions. It was a foolish decision, which also didn't bring any good. My mother burst into tears, and she and my father apologized for kicking me out, but they were really offended by my rejection of my inherited nose, even more than the loss of the house. I had to be honest. I wanted to do the nose job anyway. The whole thing just accelerated the process. Family pride was cool, but what could I do if I didn't like my nose? My parents didn't like that, but they were definitely relieved. Things started to look up. I actually got a job with my new nose. The wages were enough to pay all our legal procedures delaying the removal of the house. Hypocritical relatives are no longer welcome in our house. But You are very welcome here to our channel. Subscribe and give us the thumbs up.